All right, ladies and gents, what is good? So we're gonna continue off from the last video. So ended up ordering those throttle cables. They were from a 125. It should be here today, so I'll let you guys know what I found out about that. And again, that's if you're using this 30mm throttle body. So if not, then you don't have to worry about it. Your stock cables will work. But one other thing that I did run into with this setup was, you guys see the freaking connector right there, or the plug? It would be sitting, if I plug it in, it'll be sitting against the injector right here. So what I'm gonna have to do is pop this bracket right here and see if I could bend her, I don't know, a quarter of an inch or so to the right this way, and that should give me enough room to be able to plug that connector and they're not having an issue. And then what else? The fast solenoid, the fast idle solenoid we get rid of. CGR said it won't cause a check engine light, so should be good there. The other thing about this was, let's see, where is it at? The sensor that sits in the intake in here. So this guy, we're gonna have to figure out where to put it. Turns out that we do need to keep this guy plugged in, otherwise that will throw a check engine light. So I'm just gonna have to find a place up top up here and see where it fits all nice, snug, away from everything, and then probably check it after a couple of rides and see how clean she is. And then what else? Oh, this right here, the crankcase breather tube right here. We ordered up a breather filter, so hopefully we get that in here pretty shortly, so we can put that up there or on there. And then I don't know, we'll see where we can clamp this onto or zip tie it, you know, because zip ties always work great, in here somewhere. So there's that. And then, oh, one other thing I was going to show you guys for that race set, it doesn't come with the studs. Here, I'll show you guys. Oh, there it is. So it doesn't come with those studs for the exhaust. So you'll have to remove your stock ones unless you want to buy new ones. Pretty simple. All you got to do is just join two nuts together like this, and then, you know, you just spin this top one against the bottom one, and yeah, it'll come back right out. So, oh, and then the size for that is here. It was an M8. I don't know if it's showing up all clear, but anyways, it's an M8. I just checked it that way. You guys don't have to go trying to find a nut to fit on this. So what else? I think that's it for now. Just gonna film me installing this and probably pause it a little bit here and there and show you guys what I'm doing. Be kind of a quick and dirty big bore install, race head, cam, piston, whatever. Oh, and then the ECU and the wideband. That should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So first time doing it, so take my time. I was reading T-Bolt USA's how-to on how to do this, and too bad they only show how to do the big bore. They don't really show how to do the cam, but I found some, I don't know, some like booklet or something that someone put out there for the previous generation CRF110s. But I mean, realistically, all I really need to know is how to, or not how to, but how much to tighten up those bolts in the head. So yeah, and those are all on there, so we should be Gucci there. So first thing obviously you want to do is drain the oil once you get to this stage. I mean, removing the manifold and stuff was pretty easy, as you guys saw. You just kind of unplug all these here. I marked them just so I wouldn't lose my place on where they go. Pick up your tank, and then you just start unplugging stuff. This right here was probably, oh, what's up? Get that, oh yeah, that VP T4 fuel smell up in here. Woo! So you'll have a little clip, this guy right here, to remove, and this was probably like the hardest thing, but you just pinch it together and it comes right out, or this right here. And then yeah, you got to pinch it together and then it'll pop out. So that was probably the hardest part about that. And then I mean, everything else pretty much just comes off. The air box you'll need to remove your front fender for, to get that to slide forward like this and off. And you'll just have bolt here, and then the opposite one on this side, and it'll come right out. So, and CJR has a video on how to remove that too, really good, and step-by-step instruction on how to do it if you guys want to watch that on how to get to here. So yeah, I'm gonna be draining the oil now, and then we'll get started on the big bore install. Okay, so we got the oil drained, spark plug out. We got the other stud for the exhaust off of there, and I just put this thing on top dead center, and these showed up as well as my cables. Pretty dope. This is a part number that you'll want. So as you can see here, these are exactly the same, so you can still use the same throttle that your CRF110 has, but where the difference is down here. So you see the stock CRF110 has, you know, this bend to it, that you can't do anything other than what this bend allows you to do, so you can't do anything there with it. So with these ones, the 125s, you can see how they attach differently. So now it's just going to be, you know, your one nut and then that collar piece, whatever you want to call it, right there, which should allow it to bolt straight up on there like that and onto this piece right here. And the cables are pretty long, so that's what's going to allow it to fit. But anyways, so now we're going to be using these suckers, and I'll show you guys over here what I did, the sizes I use and whatnot. So after you've got that done, I went ahead and took the cover off, literally the 2 bolts on there. Oh, one thing, I've been kind of transferring everything over to the head. All right, boys, so we got the sprocket for the cam off. It's just this bolt, 12 millimeter. I did it with the open box wrench, and then with the ratchet, stuck that guy in there because it was really hard to turn that to get the cam off without it wanting to spin the entire motor. So ended up just holding this down here and then spun it with the box wrench over here, and then all you have to do is get it off this little lip right here. Once you get it off the lip, it'll allow you to get the cam chain off that sucker super easy. So you just literally pull it out, boom, one and done, baby. Oh yeah, don't lose these two, by the way. These 2 O-rings that go in there. What else? Okay, so now what we're gonna end up doing is taking off what looks to be, those look like 2 little 8 millimeter bolts. So this guy here, we'll loosen those 2 up, pull them out, and then in order to remove the cylinder head, this will be the last thing that you got to do, is you got to loosen these guys up. It'll be in the pattern, and it'll be in that pattern that I just did. So you'll stop with the top left one here when facing the bike like this, right? So I don't know if yours will have all this blue on it, but if it does, then cool. That'll be it right there. So you start with up here, half turns. So you'll do half turn here, half turn here, half turn there, half turn here, and you eventually will get all these out and you'll be able to pull this off. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now, and yeah, I'll see you guys back when I'm done. All right, so here's where we're at. We got our cylinder off. Dowels are still right there. Don't forget your dowels. I just left them on there in case I were to forget when I do go to slide the new cylinder on there. The suckers are going to be on there and it'll bump into something and then I'll know, but regardless, I just left them on there. And then another thing that I noticed when I was pulling this off, I could see the rings. You see the 3 rings on here, so they're supposed to be oriented at 180 degrees from each other, and you can see the top 2 definitely aren't. Hopefully, I think you can see that. Hold on, let me grab my light. So yeah, you can see the top 2 aren't. So that's one thing I noticed. And then another thing was that the roller for the cam chain, or one of them at least, hopefully this is showing up in focus, it's a little worn. So $15–30 part, whatever, from depending on where you get it from. So I'm gonna order a new one, so the sucker ain't gonna be going on tonight, just in case. Don't want that, because I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can find it really quick, but like right here there's a nice little chunk of rubber that's what's about to come off. So yeah, not gonna chance, you know, a motor that we've spent a little bit of bucks on because of that, and have all that crap rolling around in there. Maybe it disintegrate, maybe not, I don't know. But anyways, so that gets pulled off the side of the cylinder right here. And so right before you pull it off, this is what you're gonna want to do. So right, you had it on, still top dead center. You got your cylinder head off, right? Like how I was showing you guys. And then so you're gonna have that still on there, and then your plug down here, which is this guy, which was disconnected from here. You'll take that out, preferably while it's still on the bike. It'll make it a lot easier. I did right before I pulled it off. And that'll be a 17 mil. And then you'll take this sucker off, and I think, hold on, I think I still have it on here. Yeah, that was a 10 mil for that one. When you pull it off, you can either grab onto the chain and kind of spread it out, and with the other hand you can grab it out of there, or you could literally just grab this and go forward with it, and then just be careful that it doesn't slide in there and gets caught on something, you can't get it out. But anyways, yeah, just make sure you get this sucker out. This literally goes in here like that, and that bolt right there is what's holding it in. So yeah, we got that off. Started transferring over everything from one hand to another. Well, at least the parts that we were still going to use, because we got these billet ones. And so one thing I found interesting, I haven't, as you can see the cam, I've got some of the assembly lube on there, and I like to use the red line stuff because they say it's supposed to be way better than the Molly B stuff, which that stuff's really, really good for lubricity. Anyways, so what I was saying was that these don't have a telltale as to what goes where, so I'm assuming they just go anywhere. I switched them, they both sit on the cam exactly the same. Put these over here and they both sit exactly the same on the cam lobes. So I don't really know, I'm gonna reach out to a buddy of mine and see if he knows anything about these. But yeah, we'll find out about that. Good thing we had to order that, because then I'd be tempted to just throw everything together and say screw it. But anyways, so the only telltale, well, obviously on the stock ones it'll tell you on the side. It's like this one will be the intake, that little eye, and it has that hole right there. I don't know if it's for like an oil galley for oil to get up in there, and then your exhaust will have the E. See? So yeah, these don't. Here, let me see if I haven't put these in all the way, so I'll show you one of them. So no marking there, no hole there, and the other one doesn't have it either. So yeah, no telling. And I'll just leave this on here, so I'm gonna put some assembly lube on these rollers right here. As you can see, I put some over on the cam as well. So again, things you'll want to do, add that on there. These are just gonna push in. I have the bolts in here just so that I wouldn't lose them, but you'll push this in all the way and it'll screw into that. I was trying to find online, see if I could find, you know, a recommendation on the foot-pounds that these should be torqued at. Can't find anything, so I'm gonna resort to this book that I have on torque specs based on the bolt that you're using. So hopefully that'll get me pretty close. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be, I don't know, I'm not even gonna guess or say anything because I don't want to say something too high and then one of you guys goes and snaps one of these. So anyways, what else? Yeah, I think that's it. So now what I'm gonna do is, for that oil pump right here that we got, the oil pump on steroids, baby, is make the little hole, enlarge the hole bigger right there. But like I said, it's a lot easier with two hands too, but like I said, freaking it'll go in there, see, and it'll sit flush in there. So anyways, yeah, these, like I was saying, have no telltale. See, like this one doesn't have that hole down there, doesn't have any markings on it, so no way of telling that it goes. I'd pull this one out, but it's gonna be kind of hard to do right now because I only got one hand. But like I said, this one doesn't have markings either. And then when it comes to these guys, you'll end up sliding them all the way in. I know this isn't the best like tutorial or anything on how to do this, but that will be sticking out on this side, so you can't confuse this. Well, you probably can actually. But anyways, just stick it in like this. And these bolts, I just put them on there so that I wouldn't lose them or anything, but they'll end up screwing into here. And I haven't done it because I was gonna go look at a book that I have according to the bolt that you're using is what the torque spec will be, because I can't seem to find these on the interwebs. I don't know, I might look again since I don't have to put this together tonight, and see if I can find anything on it. Maybe there's probably something on like the older CRFs that's probably exactly the same torque spec, so I'll look. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The other thing that we're probably gonna do now is take the little baby piston off and put the other one on. Just super easy. You just grab needle nose pliers and grab that C-clip, I think is what it is that's in there, and pull that sucker out, and then you can pull your pin out, and then you can just check to see if there's any wear marks on those suckers, which is what I'm gonna do right now. But yeah, pretty simple. So yeah, I'll update you guys as soon as I'm done with that. See if I find anything else. Okay, so you got your piston off, right? So you did that by taking off the C-clips, boom, both of those right there, and pulling this out. It literally should almost like glide out. I just pushed it out with the same needle nose pliers that I was using. And while you're doing this, hopefully you watch this through and you didn't decide to do it right off the bat after I said to do that, is you're going to want to put a towel in here and in there, because if those go shooting anywhere, you're going to be having a bad time. So then you can check this, your wrist pin, see if it's got any grooves, any discoloring, because that'll tell you if you're having like low oil issues or you're going too long without changing your oil. Same with in here on the connecting rod. You stick your pinky in there, look at it. I already did all that, so I'm not gonna again. And then you see that, get that crap out of there, and some of the gasket maker that they had from the OEM in there or something. So yeah, there's that, and then show you guys my piston. You're gonna want to look at that too. Check out the sides right here of it and make sure that there isn't like huge wear marks, because if there are, I mean, it's kind of not going to matter because you're going to be putting in a new cylinder, but it would be a good indication that you are having issues. And if you see anything up here, any grooves, little tick marks, and your valves are saying hello to the top of your piston, which isn't good. And then one other thing that I wanted to tell you guys, when it comes to your piston, so your oil ring right here, so you got your oil ring in the very bottom, and then I think they call this your wiper, and then your compression ring. Letterings will always go up, facing up this way. The lettering will face the same way the in is, and that means intake, so this, when you put it in, will be up like that. But anyways, that'll be for later on in the video. So yeah, that's it. That's a 3-part ring, so I already put 2 in there. You can kind of see like almost like the honeycomb looking one, and then you can see this one down here that I just put the top one on, but you're also going to have a bottom portion. So now I'm going to put this guy down on the bottom of this, almost like the honeycomb piece of it, and that should be done. And then I'll do the next one, which will be your middle one, which will be right here, yeah, your middle one there, and then last but not least will be your third one right here. And so then your piston will basically be assembled, and then after you're done with that, I'm not putting any oil or anything on it yet, just because around the rings and stuff, just because I'm not going to be putting this on today. So I'll show you guys that when I go to put that sucker on, and then you'll have a new wrist pin as well, and then your C-clips. All this stuff came with the piston. So yeah, gonna do that, put that sucker on here, and then I'm probably gonna work on enlarging that hole for the oil pump right here with this little drill bit. And this came with the kit. I don't know if I was saying that earlier, but that came with the kit. So instead of pulling this off and, you know, kind of trying to get it to the same depth that it was and evened up and everything with it, I'm just gonna use this guy and slowly but surely do it on there, since we're gonna have to wait for that roller over there anyways. And probably pull this apart. I may or may not pull this apart, depends on how much material I see that's coming off of there, and if it's kind of all going in there, then I might pull that off and make sure I get everything out of there. So I was kind of avoiding pulling this off, just because I didn't want to put the clutch in there yet. I wanted to kind of get this whole setup done and over with, so that if there was any issues there, then I couldn't say that it's anything having to do with the clutch. Like, let's say I adjusted wrong or whatever, so I wanted to get this on there first, kind of get it broken in, and then do that. But if I don't do that now, then I'll have to pull the head off again. I don't know. We'll see. I might just say screw it and take this off, and the video will show right now. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, since I tried remaking this video a couple of times, or this portion of the video a couple of times, but you'll want to have the rings 180 degrees from each other. So if you put this one in there like that, then obviously your next one will be like this. So yeah. Okay, so you got your 3 rings installed, right? Your oil ring at the very bottom, the 3-part portion of the rings. Then you got your middle one, your wiper, and then your top and your compression, 180 degrees out, right? And so I already got one of them in, but I wanted to kind of show you guys how I ended up doing this super easy, or at least for me. Maybe I just got lucky. But you'll want to start with this portion, and also you want that opening to be facing up on the dome. So there's that side, and I'll kind of show you guys on this side how I did it. So you start off with that portion of the C-clip, and then you grab your needle nose pliers here while you're holding it down here like so, and then you just twist this way, which will get it in there. You kind of want to do it in case it does pop in there, or fatigue this little clip too much. But again, you want to make sure that that's facing up, and then before you throw the wrist pin in there, you'll want to put some assembly lube in here and on the wrist pin. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like on the bike. And with the intake, like I said, this will be facing up on the bike like that. So I'll show you guys. I'll get it on there and show you guys real quick. Boom, sucker, she is on there. Yay. So yeah, we got our last retaining clip on there. Make sure you check them, make sure they're in the groove. I put some assembly lube on the wrist pin, and on the inside of the piston there, where it was gonna slide through, and kind of, as I was like putting it on there, you're like wiggling it in, so make sure you get it all around, all up in there. And probably put some oil on the rings and the piston right before, and on the edges right here, especially here where it would have the most contact with the cylinder, and on the bottom portion as well, obviously, before putting on the cylinder on there. But like I said, I'm gonna continue this video on a different day, so yeah, because we need that little sucker over there. So anyways, yeah, we'll just cut to the next thing that I ended up doing. Okay, so I lied, cutting to it immediately because I just wanted to get this done and over with. Ended up enlarging that oil galley hole, I guess you could call it, for the high flow pump. And this sucker right here, like I said, did come with this to do it with, but shoot, that was taking forever. So Milwaukee, dude, came in clutch. Just use this, just use this to get it all up in there and get her done. So yeah, just be careful. You want to just enlarge the hole, that's all you're doing. You don't want to go too far back, and I did this by hand. Literally with this thing, it took me maybe like 8 minutes or something. Douse it in oil, that way it grabs freaking all the metal shavings, and as you're turning it, it's hopefully pulling it back, and then you can wipe it off. I was using my vacuum to get a lot of it out of there. This thing's like 6 horsepower vacuum, so it was even sucking oil that was in there from it not being drained fully. So pretty confident that not too many metal shavings are in there, but I might tear this off, tear this up off camera, check it really quick, just so that I'm not thinking about it. And I know for a fact that we got everything out of there, just to be safe. So yeah, anyways, like I said previously, we'll wait for that sucker and then we'll be able to put everything on. I pretty much almost easy sailing from here on out now that we got basically the head assembled. And those are just literally plug and play, just route it through here, so hell yeah. Alright, so different day, different problems, eh? No, I'm just kidding. So we finally got our part. There's the part number if you guys end up running into the same issues I did with our wheel. As you can see, our wheel, the cam chain, wheel guide, whatever you wants to call it, came kind of rusted. Dumb, dude. But anyways, yeah, I got that brand new piece, and then as you can see here is the old one. It's all chewed up right there. Hopefully this is coming through perfectly. That's how I can see it. If not, well, there's chew marks all over the place, but anyways, probably would have been fine, but you know, why not replace it? And one thing I did notice was, I don't know if you guys can see that, but here, marking, it says G12. And then over here it says G7, but it's the same thing, literally. So yeah, oh, there you can even tell how much it wore on the sides too. So anyways, yeah, there's that for you. And then ended up finding this on the flea bay, little cover for the sensor on the left side of the motor. So I figured to throw it on there. Why not? Who doesn't love some carbon? So there's that. And then, oh, something I did do the other day off camera was I was trying to figure out how I was gonna fit this all in here with the reservoir, the eraser and stuff. And so what I ended up figuring out was I cut this off over here, this tab, left that one in there. That way the reservoir can't move off to the right side over there. And so this, by leaving it way down here, it fits. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing is I'm gonna tuck, this is a Bluetooth portion of it. So what I'm gonna do is probably tuck this in here with all this other stuff and probably Velcro the back of this so that way this can't move and kind of stays in place, because it's pretty close to the shock there. Kind of don't want the shock to be, you know, too close, banging on, you know, the loom over here and possibly disconnect one of the wires. That'd be a bad day. But anyways, yeah, see, watch. You just cram all this stuff. There's a bit of space in here that this stuff can kind of fit in. So yeah, gonna do it slowly, neatly. Take off this side and see how we can fit it in there. Get it all fitted in there perfectly nice. So there's that. And then, I mean, this guy shouldn't be too hard. I'm not gonna stay in here all the time anyway, so I'll probably, yeah, I'll end up showing you guys how I end up running that sucker. So if you do end up doing the exact setup, I mean, if you didn't have the reservoir back here, it'd be perfectly fine, and you know, you wouldn't even have to worry about it. But since I do, that's just what I'm gonna have to deal with. I've seen someone else mount the reservoir right here, but I don't know, I kind of like how it is right here, kind of sleek and like out of the way, and nobody really knows what you're rocking. But anyways, what else do we got going on? Oh, we got to finish putting the head together. Let's see. So the next thing I'm gonna do with this sucker is I'm gonna put some more assembly lube right here on the rocker, and you can do yourself a favor as well. When you throw in the cam will come off. Let me see if I can get the lighting better. The cam will come off with that little notch in it. Remember when we took that off and it had it top and center? So that notch will be straight up. So when you put that cam in there, when you do go to install the cam, make sure that sucker's pointing up like I have it. Be able to dial it better and get it top to center once we get this head in there. But anyways, so there's that, and then you'll want to push those 2 pins right there for the rock arms all the way in there. That way you can get your 2 bolts in here. And I couldn't find any torque values because I'm about to torque these down once I put the assembly lube on there. on the bearings, but yeah, you'll see there's a little hole. Drop these suckers in there. Couldn't find torque values like I was saying for these, so I'm gonna look at my chart and see what it says. Like I mentioned previously in the video, I have a chart thing from the A&P stuff that I did where it shows you the kind of torque values depending on the bolt that you're using and the thread pitch, so that should kind of make it easier. That way I don't over torque. I'm not going to say what I'm planning on doing as far as torque wise, because I don't want someone to, you know, torque it the same thing as me and then, you know, accidentally snap one of these off and have a bad day and then blame it on me or something. So, but I can tell you this much, these won't be over 10 foot-pounds, that's for sure. So yeah, gonna tighten these down. The torque wrench, definitely gonna want a decent quality one for this stuff. Definitely don't want this stuff coming loose on you. So yeah, I'll do this, and then I mean, from here on out I can pop that sucker on there and probably put some lube. I have some of this oil that a lot of people like to use, Molly, the Molly B stuff, because it's super slick. I haven't ran this in the motor. I've heard some guys run this stuff. It's supposed to be just for the transmission on Honda's 4-strokes. You know how they, well, if you don't know, some Hondas separate their engine oil from the transmission oil, and so yeah, I've seen some people use this entirely in there, because with that Molly, it's supposed to be, the lubricity on this thing is supposed to be amazing, but the clutches don't like it, the wet clutches, so that's why they don't recommend using this. But I'll probably end up coating the piston with this stuff. Just, you know, pour some over and then sliding the cylinder head on there, or not the cylinder head, but the cylinder. And yeah, let's see what else. Oh, and then make sure your 2 dowels are going in there as well. So yeah, gonna do that right meow. Alright, boom, suckers. So there it is. You got your piston in there. What's good? So, oh, one thing I forgot to mention about this was on that gasket. So if you're using like that, any type of head that has oversized valves for this sucker right here, has instructions say over here. Oh, I kind of ripped them up, but you're going to be using the thinner gasket rather than the thicker one. So again, thicker gasket, stock valves, thinner gasket, oversized valves. So I don't know if that'll come through, but you can kind of see it's like, this one's probably like 4 times thicker than that thinner gasket. So, and the wording generally, I mean, you can put it either way, like this, right, on both sides of the cylinder, but generally they say wording goes out this way, so make sure you point it out that way. So next thing that I'm gonna do is gonna be putting on that where's that little sucker right there. We're gonna be putting on our replacement part up in there in between the chain guide and get this crap off. And here, and then what else? Well, I'll probably just do that and then I'll pause the video and kind of go through what I'm doing next. So we'll throw this in there. We'll have to space this cam chain out a little bit like that, screw it in, call it good. Another thing too that I didn't mention is you'll have to be really careful with the rings on the piston when you're putting this in. It's super easy, you'll have to just compress it with your fingers, but when you are compressing it with your fingers, make sure that you're not spinning it at the same time, because then that's going to mess up the kind of rotation that you put it in originally. So don't spin them, just squeeze them And as you guys may have seen, maybe the video went too quickly, but literally, like, you could do it with one hand while the other one you're pushing it in. It makes it easier if you've got another set of hands. So yeah, if anything, you got an extra set of hands, go ahead and use it. And then as you're pushing this in, this was a little tricky to get fully seated on there. Not sure why, but regardless, got it on there. Kind of had to give it a little tap. Whoa, what that, dude? Had to give it a bit of a tap. So, but yeah, as you can see, it all went on there. So yeah, just got to do that. Put that sucker on there, and then we'll start working on the head portion of it. So as I mentioned earlier, got these two tightened up. Got the rockers all nice and assembly lubed. Let's see. You know what? Maybe, okay, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna do that. Part of this, we'll slide this sucker on there, and then stop, pause, and tell you guys what I'm gonna do. All right, later. Sweet. All right, cylinder head's on. Only issue I ran into here, because I tonto, dude. Just kidding. I kind of let go of the roller wheel, went down into, you know, the cam chain cavity, and yeah, I had to fish it out. You probably saw me trying to use that thing, but it didn't work. Ended up, as you probably saw in the video, I grabbed it with both hands and kind of went up and down with it, rotating my hands, and managed to get it out. So yeah, that's out of the way. And if you remember from some of the previous videos, I had put the dowels already in the sucker, so they only fit in two places, so you can't mess that up. So make sure your dowels are in there. Black gasket. So got your blue, black, bueno. Oh, and the other black one right here. But we haven't gone there yet. So yeah, next thing that I'm gonna be doing is these two bolts that go in the head. Probably can't see because it's dark in there, but let me see. It's gonna be those suckers. You see my fingertip touching it? Yeah, you see it. Anyways, it's gonna be those two. We'll do those finger tight, and then it does call for just like how we took these off in a pattern, they want them tightened up in a pattern as well. So you're gonna do top left, bottom right, bottom left, top right. So in that pattern, and it doesn't call for you doing it in increments, but obviously if you're doing it in increments, the more evenly it's gonna tighten up. So I'm gonna, oh, what a sucker, dude. So I'm gonna do it in 2 foot-pound increments, and for you inch guys, it's 24. So yeah. Until we get to 10 foot-pounds on all of these, and then we'll go back to these two side ones until we get 10 foot-pounds as well. Those, so you don't really have to tighten up, you know, in a pattern, bottom left, bottom, top, bottom, whatever, doesn't matter. But I am gonna do probably, like, I don't know, I'm picky when it comes to it, so I'll probably do the same thing. 2 inch-pounds, 2 until we get to 10 on the other two, right on there. All right, let's get it on. Alrighty, she's all buttoned up, 10 foot-pounds all the way around on those 6 bolts that we just talked about. So for those of you that might not be using a torque wrench, and you think you can go off of just how many threads are showing or how much of a thread is showing, don't do that, because as you can see here, it's definitely not completely even all the way around, and we got 10 foot-pounds all the way around. So I know I used to do that when I would do it on my old blaster, Yamaha blaster quad, to adjust the chain. So yeah, for those of you that are thinking about maybe doing this without torque wrench, to just go to like Harbor Freight or something. It'll be a lot closer than eyeballing it. So anyways, the factory manual that I found did call for some oil on the threads and the bolts, so I did that. And even after I tightened all these up, so I went through, tightened these up, got them all to 10, right? And then I went and did the other two over here, that one and that one right there. And even then I still went back and checked these again, because obviously as every time you tighten one of these up, it's gonna minutely change how much torque is on, you know, one of the other ones. So I checked them all. There was still some more room to tighten it up, so you tighten those two up. Even at the end, you'll want to come back over here and do these once again. And even before I put on the head right there, the cover, I'm gonna check these again and do it all over again, just in case, because yeah, you just never know. And I just want to make sure that everything's, you know, perfect. So next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna install the sprocket for the cam chain right here, and we'll go ahead, check that it's in top dead center again. And like I said, this is where you putting the cam in like this with this notch facing up is going to help you out a lot, because now oh man, bad lighting, hopefully you can see that notch right there that I was talking about. You'll know when you see it. But yeah, that notch will sit in here in the middle like that. So that'll be our next thing, and then we'll tighten this bolt down to 20 foot-pounds is what it calls for. So put that sucker on there, get it on there, check top dead center real quick, put it on, and then check top dead center again, because why not? And then we'll go ahead and adjust our valves. And it said on the valves 0.003 I remember, and 0.004 or something like that. I have to double check real quick right now, but or 0.004 and 0.004. But if you got some noise, which I think the TB cams are known for, you could do 0.003 and 0.004. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, instead of both having them at 4. So yeah, buddy, let's get it. Alrighty, so we got everything assembled, we got it all tightened up. For the TB, they want 004 for the valves, so that's what we did. We'll see how noisy or not so noisy it is in the beginning. So yeah, we got that sucker on there. We got it checked for top dead center on this sucker, which we still have right there. I checked it already in here, kind of hard to see on the inside, but yeah, we got that. So now what you'll want to do is probably a good thing to put your sensor back in there, so I'll probably do that right now, and then check to see how freely this rotates at this point. You can either do it here or with the kickstand or kickstarter. So you crank it over a few times. Oh, wrong way. It doesn't really matter, but essentially you'll want it to be nice and easy, that it's not getting hung up on anything. If it does, then you know you did something wrong. So rotate it a couple of times like I am now, make sure she's solid. And as you can see, I'm spinning this without any issue whatsoever. So yeah, she should be good. Nothing's clacking other than this thing, but Yeah, I mean, one thing you could run into possibly is your valves touching your piston. So if that doesn't happen and you don't feel resistance, especially when you see one of these going, when your valve's going down and you feel resistance end, then you are probably touching the top of the piston with one of them. So careful with that. What else? Well, now that we checked that, I guess we could, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the new covers on here. Put the bolt in there, or the sensor, and then we're gonna gum up this gasket right along these edges right here with this copper gasket maker. I think I saw it on T-Bolt that they use this one, so yeah, we're gonna use this one. Ideal for exhaust because it gets hot, you know, I'm sizzling. So we'll do that, yeah. And oh yeah, like I was saying, you could use your Kickstarter too. Mine, let me put a little towel in here, but it hits because of the freaking the brake lever. But as you can see, she kicks over just fine. No noise, no nothing. She happy. One thing that I did notice earlier was that, so the stock cylinder, what side is it on? It's on this side. So this sucker would be like that, right? So on the stock cylinder, it's actually not drilled and tapped right here, this hole by my thumb, whereas this one on here is right here. So that should make for my BBR skid plate to go on there pretty darn easy. I never ended up installing it on that one just because when I looked at this one, I saw that it had the threading on there, so I didn't even bother putting it on there. I wasn't gonna ride it too much anyway, so it's another thing will be added on here. And oh yeah, when you turn it, make sure you take your freaking spark plug out. That'll make it a lot easier. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Make sure your dowel pin's up in there before you put the cover on, and I guess while we're at it, we'll probably just put the cover on too, and the titanium bolts as well. So hell yeah, stoked on that. Should look good. And then throw in the drain plug. So yeah, I'm getting there. Oh man, that is your end result right there, baby. Look how good that thing looks. By the way, I tightened these up at 7 foot-pounds is what these suckers go to. So I'm only telling you guys obviously the foot-pounds of the things that I could find or that were in the manual. Otherwise I was kind of either, as you saw, I kind of hit this one up with the torque wrench, and then just felt it by hand to see what it felt like on these from what I remember when I was unscrewing it. So anyways, now that you have all that and that and that and all that, I mean, you're pretty much set when it comes to the big bore. Now all you just gotta do is install your throttle body, and yeah, you're pretty much set. I ended up taking this off. If you saw, don't make the mistake that I did by putting this on first and then not putting it on the head. I thought I'd be able to kind of easily wiggle the head back on here because there's a groove on the cover. So yeah, I'd put it on the cover first and then just make sure your dowel pin stays in there and guide the sucker in. You should be all set. That's it. Throw your spark plug back in like I said, or I didn't say that, I said throttle body, and then you should be good. I'm not going to show this part just because mine's different. Probably a lot of people might not be doing this portion, I still need to bend this tab, which I'm gonna go do on the vise right now once I get this on, and then put this guy on, or rip the 2 throttle cables apart that I got. Where'd they go? Right here. And this was, I don't know if I showed in the beginning of this video. These, I'm pretty sure I did though. It's been so long now since that I forgot, since I've been doing this one day after another or so. But yeah, I gotta just get 1 cable out of this and then route it through there, since this 30mm throttle body is only utilizing 1 cable. So after that we should be good, and then all I gotta do is just plumb this sucker in and then get that sucker going on the app. They have an app. Let's see, let me show you guys real quick. On the app store, I'll go on there. Kind of ridiculous. You spend a couple $100 depending on which one you bought, whether it was RC2 or what I have. But as you can see here, they've got 2 of them, and I have the paid version one, which is, I think it's this one. Yeah, it was like $15. It's like, come on, you're already spending a couple $100. Like, why should one need to spend money on your damn app on top of that? But anyways, yeah, there's this version, which I didn't get. I was looking at CJR's video, and he went with the R Smart one or whatever, so that's what we're going with. Yeah, like I said, cost money. Kind of ridiculous that it does, but anyways, that's pretty much it for the big bore install. Race head, blah blah blah. You saw the other little things that I did. So yeah, that concludes this video. Hope you guys liked it, and hope some of you that are doing it this year found it, you know, useful. There's kind of not a lot different from the other years, but yeah, figured I'd throw it out there because I didn't see one with, like, you know, the race head or anything like that, and maybe I ran into some complications that, you know, if you're just doing the regular big bore, you wouldn't. So yeah, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys saw that I did something wrong in the comments or something, huh? Like I said, or maybe I didn't, because like I said, it's been a long time since I freaking started this video. I did end up popping the clutch off and cleaning out that port that I drilled out for the oil pump on steroids. So got that cleaned out, put this back on there, and what I was gonna say before that was we're gonna get the bike broken in with the stock clutch. I'm not gonna go ham or anything, and then once we do get it broken in, which should probably be like this weekend or something, hopefully, then we will throw in that super nice heavy duty clutch that we got for this thing, because yeah, it's just gonna tear the stock one apart if we run the stock one with this setup. And then hopefully Lux releases their cover for this one of these days. It'd be nice to get that, you know, covered up, make the side of the bike look nice. And got another little video for you guys too that I'm gonna be releasing pretty soon here on what I did with the exhaust too. Kind of cool. I mean, you may or may not like it, but my bike, my rules, right? All right guys, well, see you guys in the next video. Later.